What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a Justinhawksmith video. In today's video, you should get to see the truck completely on the ground and pretty much done. So that feels pretty good to say. We got Devin Scott here, and it should be not that long of a process. Hopefully, 4 or 5 hours, get this thing knocked out. So, what?
It's a long damn time.
No, it's not. There's 4 link arms, drag link, and tie rod bar, and everything in the rear is done except putting the actual stuff together.
Okay, 45 minutes, we got this.
No. All right, so anyway, guys, we are going to go ahead and start by putting the front 4 link arms on. So right here is the top 4 link arm measurement from hole to hole. Right here is the bottom one from hole to hole. These are set up for 11 inches of lift. So we're going to be somewhere between 10 and 12. So I want to go ahead and set it for 11 because if you set it for 11 and you're going to be somewhere between 10 and 12, I'm not sure what I want to set it at yet, then 12 inches of lift is going to be like having a 1-inch leveling kit. If it ends up being at 10 inches of lift, it would be like lowering a stock truck 1 inch. So, and Trevor actually recommends running the arms just a hair long to the lower arms, just a hair long, like a 1/4 inch, I think it is, to give you a little bit of extra caster, like 5 degrees, you know, rotate that axle back. This should work out good anyway. We'll be somewhere around 11, 11 and a half, 10, 10 and a half, 10 and 3/4. We'll be somewhere around there. I'm not sure. That'll depend on how we set up the coilovers, but we'll figure that out as we go. So right now, I'm going to literally measure from hole to hole, set up these measurements on the 4 link arms, and then we're going to go ahead and put these babies on. So let's get to it. Are you videoing right now? All right, guys, so as you can see right here behind me, we just now got the 4 link arms on. And like I said, PMF sends you a list of between, I think, like 3 inch all the way up to 12 or 13 inches of lift. And he does every 1/2 inch increment what to set the 4 link arms at. So that's really, really awesome that PMF sends that. So literally set both of the top 4 link arms on in the correct measurement with the crawler joint adjusted from hole to hole. So this is really why I wanted to do this bracket, which I had cut the factory one off anyway. But we've got that PMF Eagle bracket, and then the long arm bracket matches each other. And then inside of here, Brad actually killed it. He done like a flat black, like a satin black on the whole inside of that whenever he powder coated these. So, and then the traction bars are the same way over here. So as you can see, guys, this powder coat all looks perfect. And man, it looks good. I'm super, super excited with it. All right, so what's next? We have to go ahead and I guess we're gonna go ahead and assemble the front. I'm really not sure. We may go ahead and throw the gears in the rear. We have to do both either way. So I'm thinking what we're gonna do, we've got the master ball joint press kit right here. We're gonna press some ball joints into these. Probably just do a little edit of this, and then those will go on. I have a full YouTube video, so I'm not going to waste your time showing you how to press ball joints in and out. I have a full YouTube video showing a full breakdown, and then reassembly is the complete opposite. So I have a full breakdown video, the front axle and the rear axle. So we're literally going to put these ball joints in these knuckles, and then the knuckles will be ready to go on, slide the axle shafts in, and go ahead and put the hub assemblies on. And then the front of this truck, after the drag link and the track bar, it's done. So once we get those knuckles on everything, that'll really, really tidy everything up and get us so close to being able to throw the wheels on and set the truck down. So after we get all that stuff done in the front, then we'll put the wheels on and stuff in the front, and then we'll go on to the back, I guess. So we're gonna go ahead and knock this front out. I'm gonna go ahead and throw up a little time lapse or something of us pressing these ball joints in. Then we've got axle shafts, drag link. We'll talk about the drag link here in a second. It's a HD drag link from PMF, so I wanted to go over that and show that to you all. It has a Heim joint up at the top, and then it has like a HD tie rod end or something at the bottom. So that looks really, really good. So we'll go ahead and get that done, and then we'll go from there, see where we're at, see what time it is.
Perfect.
All right, guys, so we went ahead and put this knuckle on. We've already got the other side on as well. You can go over there and show that to them. So we've got that knuckle on, upper and lower ball joints pressed in to the knuckle. And then you're gonna wanna go ahead and slide that knuckle on and tighten up the upper and lower ball joints. So you have this caster sham right here that the upper ball joint goes up through. And you make sure to put anti-seize all over that, down in the slot, inside of the actual camber, shim, and everything, because that gets a car to key anyway. So you're not gonna have to worry about that coming loose.
Put a little bit of anti-sneeze on it.
A little bit of anti-sneeze. And now we're taking our breaker bars and tightening up these ball joints. So now that we've got that tightened up completely, we can go ahead and turn this. So we can go ahead and turn that pretty much straight. And now we're ready to run the drag link from right here up to the pitman arm. And we're also ready for our axle shafts. So we can take our axle shafts, shove them through here. They'll go into the carrier and use a snap ring. Then it's time for the hub assembly. I'm actually not doing dust shields this time around on the truck, so there will be no dust shields. I thought about doing some and powder coating them, then I decided against it, and I don't want black dust shields under here. So my buddy Colt's truck is actually like that. It has no dust shields on it, so that's what I'm doing. We are not doing dust shields, so it usually would go dust shield, then rotor, but it doesn't do that anymore because we're not doing dust shields. So we're gonna do hub assembly, or it would normally go dust shield, hub assembly, rotor. But now it's just gonna go hub assembly, rotor, slap that caliper on. Then we'll have the big old studs on there, all 8 of them, to put the 4-inch Bora wheel spacers on. And this thing should be setting wide. The whole front end will be done after that. And we can get it down on the ground. We're gonna get everything pretty much like hand tight, or torque everything down quite a bit. And then after we get the truck completely down on the ground and I get my drive shaft measurement, I'm gonna take probably just like an hour or two and just go around and literally touch over every single bolt. The reason that I haven't been marking anything with a paint marker, I know in some of my videos I've done that before, is because I would really like to, before we head to Nashville, I wanna go around and tighten each bolt. After I tighten it and touch it, then put a paint marker on it, instead of doing that as I put it together, because some stuff I may have to take back loose or whatnot. So that's kind of my thought process on that. So we're gonna go around right after I tighten up each and every bolt and use Loctite on these. Then we will mark them with a paint marker. So what I'm gonna do next is slide the
Sorry.
So what I'm gonna do next is slide in the axle shaft on both sides and put the hub assembly on. I have a full YouTube video on changing the hub assembly, but it's literally just 4 bolts and you're good to go. There's a big old snap ring in there. I have the snap ring pliers laying here somewhere, but I'll try to link those in the description box. Yep. Right here. Go ahead and give them the part number. Some big Knipex 4611A3, 40 to 100 millimeter. Ow! You can't take off the snap ring on the hub assembly without these bad boys. All right, let's get this. Okay guys, so we just now finished up for the night. Well, I guess for the morning. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. So we got quite a bit of done. So we got quite a bit done yesterday and just now this morning, I guess technically. So I'm gonna go ahead and go over quite a bit that we got done, whatever you haven't already seen. I know we started with the 4-link arms and then fooled with the, I don't even know what all we filmed. I literally, every single day is just like a mix up. So, anyway, I rolled up the wheels. We actually ended up getting the hub assemblies on and on the front. So I did throw a wheel on. This one is just sitting here, but check this out, guys. You all are going to be blown away. So we've got the 4-link arms on. We got the track bar on. We've got the knuckles, hub assemblies, rotor, and those 4-inch Bora wheel spacers with the JHS logo in them. Check that out. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. It kind of gives you a quick idea of how the truck's gonna look. And of course the wheels and tires will be higher up in the fender well. Because obviously this is still floating off the ground, and it's going to be a little bit wider than this because the axle is shifted over that way some. So as that goes up, it'll actually go over, and then we'll center that track width and get it all nice and perfect. But guys, it looks so good. We ran into some issues with the tie rod bar. So the tie rod bar is right here. I started to film it and then we ran into some issues. So what this does is it's the HD tie rod bar from PMF, and I got the passenger side tie rod end installed. It just takes OEM tie rod ends. The driver side tie rod end will not thread into the bar, and the jam nut will not thread onto the tie rod end. So that's a huge bummer. We also got the drive shaft dropped off at the drive shaft shop today. So hopefully tomorrow we can jack it up and get a measurement from the flange to the transmission flange. And then I'm gonna add like a 1/4 inch or so. And then that should get us with proper tolerances even after we do the transmission, the transfer case index, because that will space it back some. But the tie rod issue on the tie rod bar is a huge issue. Obviously we can't go without a drive shaft, but I think we've got that taken care of. That's out of my control. And we can't go without a tie rod bar. So I'm gonna go to Advance tomorrow and get another tie rod end and see if it's the tie rod end. Maybe I got one that the threads are like machined a little bit wrong or something. I'm hoping, because the tie rod end, the jam nut will not screw onto the tie rod end, and even without the jam nut, the tie rod end won't screw into the bar. So it has nothing to do with the powder coat or anything. If anybody thinks that powder coat's in the threads, whenever my powder coat guy powder coats everything, he vacuums out all the threads. The other side went in with a breeze, put a little bit of anti-seize on it, threaded it in by hand. The jam nut threaded onto the other tie rod end, a breeze. I mean, it was just super easy, just hand tighten, and that went on there fine. But the other side, I've even tried to clean the threads a little bit, like if they were a little bit messed up. I put the tie rod in a bench vise and it'll thread on a little bit and then stop. I tried to drive it on the rest of the way with an impact gun to see if there's a little burr, and it'll just stop, and it's not going any further, and I don't want to mess up the jam nut in case it is just the tie rod end. So hopefully we can get us a new tie rod end tomorrow, and that'll be good. Another thing that we were waiting on was these brake lines. So these are the PMF stainless steel braided brake lines. Then I also done the upgraded axle one for the rear axle. So these go from the caliper. So this is going to be your driver's side caliper, and then it has this beautiful little T fitting right here instead of the factory ugly one. And this goes to your other caliper. It's a really, really long hose, and that goes on the whole axle. And then this goes up. If you're a F250 person, you understand that. And then these are the front ones, of course. So that gets rid of the metal brake line that you have on the rear, and that's really, really cool. So our parts pile is getting smaller and smaller. We got traction bar mounts, differential covers, tie rod bar, traction bars, calipers, steering stabilizer brackets, sway bar brackets. Still waiting on the sway bar from Powder Coat. We got the sway bar end links right here, along with the hood stack shields, and the overlays for the hood stack are still at Powder Coat. We got the gears in the front. I think you all seen that in the last video. Maybe, I really can't even remember. Like I said, it's just been a blur. So we ended up getting the carrier end back here. And like I said, guys, on that, I reused the factory shims that were already in it, so you don't have to adjust any backlash or anything. It has a crush washer. Use the same thickness crush washer as what comes out of it. Tighten it down. And then make sure that you stake the nut so then that nut doesn't back off, and torque those to like 85 foot-pounds, 90 foot-pounds. It states between like 75 and 94 or something like that in the manual. So I just done 85 on those. I've never had a problem out of them doing that. So you can kind of see this coilover has bent over this way, which is pulling the axle this way towards the driver's side. So that is going to make the wheels not stick out as far as they should. So the wheels will stick out a little bit further, which is exactly what I'm wanting. And then of course those coilovers are going to compress in about 5 inches to set right there around half travel. They have like 11 inches of shaft exposed. I would assume that they probably run about half travel. But that's going to be pretty much all for today's video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope y'all are following along with the build, and I can't wait to meet y'all at Music City as long as we make it. So I really, really hope that I get to make it to Music City so I can meet you all. I mean, I'm going to go to Music City either way, but I really want the truck to be there. And hope you all are having a great time. I hope that you all are crunching for Music City too, getting your trucks ready. And I can't even talk right now, guys, but I can't wait to see all of y'all and meet all of y'all. So always remember, everybody starts as nobody, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.